And we're back. Check the sound levels real quick. Let's see. What do we got? Yep, we're good. Bill Muhammad, Leon Edwards, main event this Saturday, UFC Vegas 21. One fight on the main card has already been canceled after I did my notes. The Ben Rothwell, Felipe Lenz fight has been rescheduled. Sorry, not canceled because they moved it to another date. But the card kicks off Eric Anders, Darren Stewart. Anders 13-5, 5-5 in the UFC, 1-1 since his return to middleweight. He was 3-1 in middleweight, left, went to 205, kind of went on a little bit of a losing streak there, had a little bit of struggles. And then now he's come back to middleweight and he's 1-1 since returning. He's got key wins in the UFC against Gerald Mearshart, Vinces Moreira, Marcus Perez, and Rafael Natal. Brendan Allen he beat before he was in the UFC and LFA. 8 out of 13 of his wins via TKO or knockout. He's only been knocked out once, and he's never been submitted. His one knockout loss was to Thiago Santos, who's one of the hardest hitting 205ers there is right now. Darren Stewart 12-6-1 definitely doesn't have the punching power. Thiago Santos won no contest. 7-12 out of his 12 wins via TKO or knockout. Never been knocked out in his career. 5-6-1 in the UFC. Also another guy who struggled a little bit. His key wins: Makai Pilato, Deron Wynn, Bavon Lewis, Charles Bird. Much lower competition than Eric Anders has had in his career. In the UFC, Eric Anders is a big, athletic, hard-hitting guy. Darren Stewart, more of a counter-puncher, pick his shots type of guy. Darren Stewart's coming in -180. I think that's a little bit skewed. I'm going to go with Eric Anders in that fight. If it goes to a decision, which Darren Stewart's good at winning decisions, Eric Anders is going to have big trouble. We've seen he has a lot of cardio issues, but he's got a lot of power in his hands, a lot of power in his kicks, and he's got pretty good wrestling. So, I mean, if he can dominate the first couple rounds, doesn't matter how tired he is, as long as he doesn't get finished, he should be all right in the later rounds. Dan Ige versus Gavin Tucker is the second fight on the main card. Might switch around because of the Ben Rothwell shit. Ige's 14-3, never been finished in his career. 6-2 in the UFC. His only losses were a decision to Calvin Kattar, which was his last fight, and a decision loss to Julio Arce, which was his UFC debut. His biggest wins are Edson Barbosa and Mirsad Bektik. He's black belt in jiu-jitsu, brown belt in judo, Division III wrestler. They're about the same height. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage, though. So Dan Ige is a really well-rounded guy. He's a good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu, good stand-up, good throws. Gavin Tucker is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's 13-1, never been finished in his career. His only loss is a decision loss to Rick Glenn. He's 4-1 in the UFC. Biggest wins include Billy Quarantillo and Justin James. Just based off the two biggest wins of each guy, Dan Ige's definitely fought the more skilled opponents in his career. And he seems like he's definitely a lot more well-rounded as far as being a wrestler, and top control, top pressure is a lot for a jiu-jitsu guy to deal with, unless those 10th ranked guys are crazy good off their back. But I hate to go two underdogs, but I mean this one's pretty close. +105. I'm going to go Gavin Tucker there. Ben Rothwell, Felipe Lenz, of course, that's been canceled or rescheduled for another date. Misha Serkinov, Ryan Spann. Spann has a 2-inch height and a 4.5-inch reach advantage over Misha Serkinov. He's 6'5", 81.5-inch reach. 18-6 in his professional career, 11 wins by submission. Only been submitted one time, and that was to Robert Drysdale, the infamous MMA coach out of Arizona, I think. He's famous for that shit where the kid was telling him he wanted to quit, and he was trying to hype him up. A lot of people gave him shit for that, but Robert Drysdale actually was very decorated in mixed martial arts at one point in his career. Ryan Spann's only loss is a knockout loss to Johnny Walker in his last fight. Best strikers he's ever defeated are Alex Nicholson, Sam Alvey, and Emilio Sordi. Sordi, I think the best, he submitted him. He actually knocked out Alex Nicholson and then won a decision over Sam Alvey. That was great boxing. He's also fought guys like Carl Robinson and Trevin Giles, but he's lost both of those fights. So you can see the kind of, standing up's not his strong suit. He's a power puncher, but he wants to fight on the ground. He wants to be able to work his jiu-jitsu. He's going up against another black belt in jiu-jitsu against Misha Serkinov. Serkinov's 15-5, 9 submission wins, 6-3 in the UFC. He's got wins over Jimmy Crute, Ion Kutabwala, and Alex Nicholson. All three of those guys very heavy punchers, good strikers. He has been finished in 100% of his losses and has never. And he's got 2 submission losses. Both of those happened prior to 2012. So it's been a very long time since Misha Serkinov's been submitted. And Misha Serkinov's got a lot of power in his hands. He's got really good boxing. And I think if he could stand with Ryan Spann, it's going to be big trouble for Ryan Spann. But who knows what's going to happen? Ryan Spann's a much bigger guy. He got a significant reach advantage, significant height advantage. I'm going to go Ryan Spann in that one. Leon Edwards, Bill Muhammad. Edwards, 4-inch height, 2-inch reach advantage, 6'2", 74-inch reach, 18-3, 50% of his wins via decision. He has never been finished in his career. He's been in 2 5-round fights in his career. He's won both, decision over Don Cerrone and Rafael dos Anjos. His other wins in his career include Gunnar Nelson, Brian Barberena, and Vicente Luque. He's 10-2 in the UFC. He'll be going up against Bill Muhammad, who's 18-3, 13 decisions in his career. He's only been finished one time, and that was a knockout by Vicente Luque, 2016. He's 9-3 in the UFC. His biggest wins were Diego Lima's last fight, Layman Good, Curtis Melander, Tim Means, and Takashi Sato. So, I'm completely biased in this one, but I do believe that if Bill Muhammad can get a hold of him and start roughhousing, throwing him around, he'll be able to do good up until he gets tired, possibly. Maybe he doesn't. We've never seen Bill Muhammad in the UFC fight a 5-round fight, so it's going to be our first time, and maybe he has great cardio. Maybe he's able to dominate the wrestling the entire time, and I think he's definitely going to come into the fight the stronger guy. So we'll see how he's able to use his clinch and his takedowns to control the fight. The rest of the card, Angela Hill versus Ashley Yoder, which I think is going to be on the main card. I'll give you a prediction for that and make up notes because I already wrote them. Because this fight was supposed to happen about 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to go Angela Hill there. Matthias Nicolou is going to take on Manel Cape. I think Cape wins that one pretty easily. Courtney Casey is going to be taking on J.J. Aldridge. Hani Yaya taking on Ray Rodriguez. Charles Jourdain against Marcelo Rojo. I don't know how you would say that. Jonathan Martinez versus Davey Grant. Jin Yu Frey versus Gloria De Pola. And then Matthew Smellsberger versus Jason Witt. Ricardo Ramos supposed to be fighting on this card. They couldn't find him an opponent. So is Nasrat Hapkras. I don't think they've called it on Hapkras. I think they're still maybe looking, or at least they haven't announced that the fight's been scrapped. He's still kind of on the board there. So another fight possibly being added there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 fights going to happen on this Saturday. UFC Vegas 21. Like always, make sure you catch us next Tuesday, I think. Is there a pay-per-view week after next? No, week after next is Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland, which is going to be a great fight. I think this is going to be Kevin Holland's coming out party. He's going to be a really, really big name after 2 Saturdays from now. I've had a lot of confidence in Kevin Holland ever since I've seen him. Man, it's been a long time. He stepped in on short notice against Thiago Santos, and that's when I knew this guy was the real deal. He wasn't scared to take on a fight, and he's proved it ever since. Man, he's taken on short notice after short notice, and he's knocking these guys out. Joe Quinn Buckley and what's that kid that he slammed on his neck? I forgot that kid's name. The knockout of the year candidate, Jacare Souza. The list goes on and on. Kevin Holland's the real deal, and we're going to see that not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Make sure you tune back in next Tuesday. We'll be going over predictions for that, but I'll give you mine now. That's Kevin Holland all day. So until next Tuesday, guys, stay barbecued. Holla at me.